The memorial hall stood silent as Alan Prescott ran his aged fingers over the glass case. Inside lay a small rock, no bigger than his fist, the last genuine piece of Earth known to exist. 3,000 years had passed since the planet was destroyed, yet the pain remained fresh in humanity's collective memory. Alan looked up as the doors opened. His great-granddaughter Olivia entered, her new captain's uniform gleaming under the soft lights. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly, her posture perfect after years of military training. "I thought I'd find you here," she said, her voice echoing in the empty hall. Alan smiled. At 72, he was one of the oldest living humans on Nova. Haven, the largest of humanity's secret colonies. His job as keeper of Earth's archives and history professor made him the guardian of humanity's lost home. "Today is a big day," Alan said. "Your graduation. Your new command. It seemed right to visit this place." Olivia stood beside him, looking down at the small rock. "Is it strange that I feel connected to a place I've never seen? A home that was destroyed thousands of years before I was born?" Alan placed his hand on her shoulder. "Not strange at all. Earth isn't just a place we lost. It's the promise of what we'll reclaim." Outside the memorial hall, Nova Haven buzzed with activity. The colony had grown from a small outpost of 10,000 survivors to a thriving world of millions. Built inside a hollowed-out asteroid and hidden in a remote star system, it had remained safe while Earth was destroyed in what history now called the Erasure. The Zoltanian Alliance, a coalition of 3 alien species, had seen humanity's rapid technological growth as a threat. They struck without warning, turning Earth into a lifeless radioactive rock. What they didn't know was that humanity had already established several deep space colonies. Hidden from detection. Alan and Olivia walked through the city's main plaza. Above them, through the massive transparent dome, they could see stars that no human from Earth would recognize. "The fleet launches tomorrow," Olivia said. 3,000 ships in the first wave. The Vengeance will lead the third attack group. Alan nodded. For 3,000 years, the human colonies had dedicated themselves to a single purpose: building the technology, weapons, and fleet needed to return to Earth and defeat those who had tried to wipe them out. "The stars remember what was done to us," Alan said, looking up at the unfamiliar constellations. "And soon, so will they." They reached the edge of the military district, where crowds gathered behind barriers to watch the final preparations. The UES Vengeance sat in its docking bay, a massive warship stretching nearly a mile long. Its black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it, making it seem like a hole cut into reality. "It's hard to believe that's my ship now," Olivia said. A voice called out behind them, "Captain Prescott." They turned to see Commander Samuel Wright approaching. He was Olivia's age, 32, with short blonde hair and a serious expression that rarely changed. "Commander," Olivia greeted him formally, though they had known each other since childhood. "The final crew assignments are complete," Samuel said, handing her a small data tablet. "All 500 crew members are ready for tomorrow's launch." Alan watched the exchange with pride. The young woman before him was no longer just his great-granddaughter, but Captain Olivia Prescott, one of 5,000 ship commanders in humanity's armada. Later that evening, Alan hosted a small gathering in his home for Olivia's promotion. The apartment was modest, but filled with real books a rarity in their digital age, and artifacts from humanity's past that Alan had spent his life collecting and preserving. Samuel was there, along with Dr. Lauren Miller, the Vengeance's chief medical officer and Olivia's closest friend since their academy days. Lauren raised a glass of synthesized wine, a luxury on Nova Haven. "To Captain Prescott," she said, "may your aim be true." Everyone drank. The unspoken reality hung in the air, They were all about to embark on a mission of revenge that had been planned for longer than any of them had been alive. When the others left, Olivia stayed behind, looking through her great-grandfather's books. "Are you afraid?" Alan asked her when they were alone. Olivia took a moment before answering. "Not of dying, not of fighting. But sometimes I wonder if revenge after so long will truly bring peace to what remains of humanity." Alan sat in his old chair by the window. "This isn't just about revenge, Olivia. The Zaltanians took more than just our planet. They tried to erase us from existence. Our return is a statement that humanity cannot be so easily wiped away." Olivia nodded, but her doubt remained visible in her eyes. "Get some rest," Alan said. "Tomorrow begins a new chapter in our history." The next morning, Nova Haven's docks were filled with activity as final preparations were made for the fleet's departure. Families said goodbye to loved ones. Many would never see each other again. Olivia stood at the airlock to the Vengeance, watching her crew board. Samuel stood beside her, reviewing the launch sequence. "All systems are green," he reported. "We're ready when you are, Captain." Olivia looked back at the crowd. Alan stood at the front, his hand raised in farewell. Around him, thousands of civilians watched in silence. This moment had been their collective purpose for generations. "It's time," she said. Aboard the Vengeance, Olivia took her place in the captain's chair. The bridge crew worked at their stations around her, each focused on their tasks. "Begin departure sequence," she ordered. The massive ship hummed as its engines powered up. On the main screen, Olivia could see hundreds of other warships doing the same, their lights blinking against the darkness of space. "Captain," Samuel said from his station, "Admiral Grayson is hailing all ships." On screen, Olivia replied. The weathered face of Admiral William Grayson appeared. At 60, he was one of the oldest active military officers and the overall commander of the Armada. "Sons and daughters of Earth," he began, his voice carrying to every ship. "Today we begin our journey home. For 3,000 years, we have carried the memory of what was taken from us. Today, we begin the reclamation." Olivia felt the weight of history on her shoulders as the Vengeance broke free from its dock and moved toward the fleet rendezvous. Point. The stars stretched before them, promising both danger and destiny. 3,000 years of waiting were over. Humanity was going home. The vast emptiness of space stretched before the human armada as they traveled toward their ancient home. 6 months had passed since they left Nova Haven. The fleet moved through the darkness using void fold technology, a method of travel that bent space-time and allowed them to cross great distances in weeks instead of centuries. Olivia stood on the observation deck of the UE's Vengeance, watching as stars blurred past. The ship hummed beneath her feet, its massive engines pushing them ever closer to Earth. "Beautiful, isn't it?" A voice said behind her. Olivia turned to see Dr. Catherine Monroe, the fleet's lead xenobiologist. At 38, Catherine had spent her life studying the Zaltanians from afar, learning their biology, their cultures, and their weaknesses. "I never get used to it," Olivia admitted. "The void fold effect makes the stars look like they're melting." Catherine joined her at the window. "Our ancestors would have considered this impossible. 3,000 years of technological development, all focused on one goal. Revenge," Olivia said quietly. "Is that all it is for you?" Catherine asked. Olivia considered the question. "I was raised on stories of Earth, like we all were. But sometimes I wonder if we're chasing ghosts. None of us ever set foot on Earth. None of us met the Zaltanians who destroyed it." Catherine nodded slowly. "We're not. The humans they destroyed. We've evolved, adapted. Perhaps they have too." Their conversation was interrupted by Commander Samuel Wright's voice over the intercom. "Captain Prescott to the bridge. We are receiving a transmission from Admiral Grayson. On the bridge, the crew worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. The main screen showed Admiral Grayson aboard the flagship UES Reckoning. His face looked more tired than when they had departed. "Captain Prescott," he greeted her. "Our scout probes have sent back their first detailed reports from the Sol system." "What? Have they found, Admiral?" Olivia asked. "The Zaltanian alliance is no more," Grayson said. "They've fractured into 3 separate empires, constantly at war with each other. The Tari, the Vekanur, and the Sothani now fight over the remains of what was once our home." The bridge fell silent as the crew processed this information. "Show me Earth," Olivia requested. The screen changed to show a barren gray planet. What had once been blue oceans and green continents was now a lifeless rock. Radiation levels remained high even after 3,000 years. "They left it as a monument to their victory," Grayson said bitterly. "Mars has been terraformed and is now the Vekanor homeworld. The asteroid belt has been converted into mining. Operations by the Sothani. The Tari have established colonies on the moons of Jupiter." Commander Eric Russell, the 35-year-old tactical officer, stepped forward. "This changes our approach, Admiral. We expected a unified enemy. 3 separate factions give us an advantage." "Agreed," Grayson nodded. "We'll adjust our battle plans. The fleet will be divided into 3 battle groups, each targeting 1 faction." "Sir," Olivia said, "which faction was most responsible for the erasure?" "According to our intelligence, the Vekanor were the architects," Grayson replied. "The other species followed their lead. The Vengeance will join the battle group targeting them." As the transmission ended, Olivia turned to her crew. "Prepare a full tactical analysis. I want to know everything about Vekanor defenses, weapons capabilities, and weaknesses." Later that night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She left her quarters and walked the quiet corridors of the massive warship. Most of the crew was asleep, with only essential personnel on duty. She found herself in the ship's garden, a space designed to provide fresh air and a reminder of nature. Synthetic plants grew under artificial light, creating a small oasis of green amid the metal and technology. Catherine was there, studying a plant sample. She looked up as Olivia entered. "Couldn't sleep either?" she asked. Olivia shook her head. "I keep thinking about what we learned today, about the Zaltanians fighting among themselves." "It's not surprising," Catherine said. "Alliances built on fear and aggression rarely last. 3,000 years is a long time, even for their species." "Does it change anything?" Olivia asked. "Does it change what we came to do?" Before Catherine could answer, an alarm blared throughout. The ship. Olivia rushed to the nearest communication panel. "Captain, we've detected a small vessel at the edge of our sensor range," Samuel's voice reported. "It appears to be a Zaltanian research ship, Tory design." "I'm on my way to the bridge," Olivia said. By the time she arrived, the bridge was fully staffed despite the late hour. The main screen showed a small ship drifting against the backdrop of stars. "They haven't detected us yet," Commander Russell reported. "Our stealth systems are holding. Weapons status?" Olivia asked. "Ready, Captain. We can destroy them with a single shot." Olivia stared at the alien vessel. This was the first Zoltanian ship any human had seen in 3,000 years. The enemy who had destroyed their world was finally within reach. "Captain?" Samuel prompted. When she didn't immediately give the order to fire, Admiral Grayson's voice came through the communication system. "All ships hold position. Do not engage the Tory vessel, sir." Olivia questioned. "This is an opportunity," Grayson explained. "That ship likely contains valuable intelligence. I'm ordering a capture operation instead of destruction." The tension on the bridge was palpable. Many crew members had spent their entire lives preparing to kill Zoltanians, not capture them. Prepare boarding teams, Olivia ordered. Full combat gear. I want that ship intact with its crew secured. As the teams prepared, Catherine approached Olivia privately. I should go with them. I'm the foremost expert on Zoltanian biology. It's too dangerous, Olivia argued. Without me, they won't know if Vitari are playing dead or truly unconscious. Their biology is different from ours. Please, I need to be there. Reluctantly, Olivia agreed. The boarding teams, led by Commander Russell, launched from the Vengeance. In small, stealthy shuttles, they approached the unaware Tory vessel from behind. On the bridge, Olivia watched the operation unfold through helmet cameras. The boarding team cut through the outer hull and entered the alien ship. Inside, they found 6 Tory researchers who offered no resistance, too shocked by the sudden appearance of humans to fight back. Capture successful, Russell reported. All Tory secured. No casualties on either side. As the alien ship was towed into the Vengeance's docking bay, Olivia felt a strange mix of emotions. For the first time, humans would come face to face with the descendants of those who had tried to erase them from existence. The journey for revenge had truly begun. The Tory prisoners sat in a row on one side of the long table in the Vengeance's secure conference room. Their blue-tinted skin and large, dark eyes marked them as alien to the humans who guarded them. They wore simple gray jumpsuits provided. After their own clothing was taken for study, Olivia watched them through a one-way window. 6 aliens who had never seen a human before today. Their ancestors had helped destroy Earth, yet these individuals looked more frightened than dangerous. Are you ready? Catherine asked, adjusting the universal translator device on her wrist. The technology had been developed based on old transmissions intercepted over centuries. As ready as I'll ever be, Olivia replied. What do you think of? Them? Physically, they're much as our studies predicted. Smaller than us. Adapted for lower gravity. Their body language suggests fear, not aggression. Admiral Grayson joined them, his face stern. Remember, Captain, we need information. Their ship's databanks are encrypted. We need to know what they know. Olivia nodded and entered the room with Catherine close behind her. The Tory shifted nervously as the humans sat across from them. I am Captain Olivia Prescott of the United Earthship Vengeance. She began, the translator converting her words into the clicking, whistling sounds of the Tory language. You are prisoners of the human fleet. The Tory looked at each other. In confusion. The one in the center, distinguished by markings on his neck that suggested higher rank, leaned forward. Human? Impossible. Humans were extinct for thousands of cycles. We survived, Olivia said simply. Some of us escaped before Earth was destroyed. The lead Tory, who introduced himself as Kelver, seemed genuinely shocked. The histories say humans were dangerous aggressors, that the Alliance had no choice but to strike first. Catherine activated a small projector that displayed an image of Earth before its destruction. This was our home, a living world with billions of people, and countless other species. Your people helped turn it into a dead rock. That cannot be right, Kelver insisted. Our histories say Earth was a military world, that humans were building weapons to attack the Alliance. Your histories lie, Admiral Grayson said from the doorway. He had entered silently during the exchange. Humanity never threatened. Zoltanian Alliance. For hours, the questioning continued. Slowly, a disturbing picture emerged. For 3,000 years, the Zoltanians had been taught a version of history that painted humans as dangerous aggressors who forced the Alliance to take defensive action. We have found things, Kelver admitted finally. Artifacts that do not match our official histories. Some of us have questioned the past, but such questions are forbidden, especially among the Vikaner. When the session ended, Olivia, Catherine, and Admiral Grayson met in the captain's ready room to discuss what they had learned. "They don't even know what they did," Olivia said, troubled by the revelation. "They've been lied to for 3,000 years. "The leaders knew," Grayson countered. "The Veckener orchestrated both the destruction and the lie. These Tauri may be ignorant, but their ancestors weren't." Commander Russell joined them, bringing data tablets with analysis of the Tauri ship's technology. "Their weapons are impressive, but nothing compared to ours. Their void-fold technology is still in early development. We have a significant advantage." "What about their home defenses?" Grayson asked. "Substantial. They've converted several of Jupiter's moons into fortresses. But with our stealth technology, we can approach undetected." Grayson stood and looked at the star map displayed on the tee. "Wall, we proceed as planned. The fleet will divide into 3 battle groups. We strike the Veckener first and hardest. They were the architects of Earth's destruction." "Sir," Olivia said hesitantly, "what about the fact that none of the current generation knows the truth? They're operating on false history. Does that change what happened to Earth?" Grayson asked coldly, "Does that bring back the billions who died?" Before Olivia could respond, an alert sounded. Samuel's voice came over the intercom. "Captain, we've reached the outer edge of the Sol system. We're detecting heavy Veckener activity around Mars." "Battle stations," Olivia ordered, the discussion tabled for now. On the bridge, the crew prepared for potential combat. The main screen showed Mars in the distance, its once red surface now covered with blue-green vegetation and sprawling cities. The planet that should have been humanity's first colony was now the Veckener homeworld. "All ships are in position," Samuel reported. "The fleet is ready to divide into battle groups on your command, Admiral." Grayson stood at the center of the bridge, his posture rigid. "For 3 millennia, we've lived with the memory of what was taken from us. Today, we begin the reclamation. But remember, we do not seek to become what destroyed us. We are humanity, and we will have justice, not just vengeance." The Admiral turned to Olivia. "Captain Prescott, your battle group will approach Mars from the dark side. Use the stealth systems to get close before they detect you." "Yes, sir," Olivia acknowledged. Even as doubt gnawed at her dot, Catherine caught her eye from across the bridge, her expression troubled. They both knew that what happened next would define humanity's future as much as the past. The fleet began to separate, ships moving into their assigned positions with practiced precision. Olivia gave orders to her crew, guiding the Vengeance toward its approach vector. "Captain," Samuel said quietly beside her, "the Tauri prisoner Kelver is requesting to speak with you." "He says it's urgent. Can it wait?" Olivia asked, focused on the battle preparations. "He says he knows something about Earth, something that was hidden from their histories." Olivia hesitated, then nodded. "Have him brought to my ready room." "Commander, you have the bridge. Maintain course, but take no action until I return." In her ready room, Kelver waited under guard. His large eyes seemed even wider with urgency. "Captain," he said as soon as she entered, "there is a vault on the Sothony homeworld in your asteroid belt. It contains artifacts from Earth, my research. Uncovered references to it. What kind of artifacts?" Olivia asked. "I don't know exactly, but the references call it the preservation. It was created by those who opposed Earth's destruction, but could not prevent it." Olivia stared at the alien, trying to determine if he was telling the truth or attempting to divide the human forces. "Why tell me this now?" "Because I've seen your faces as you spoke of Earth," Kelver replied. "The same grief is in the hidden histories. Not all of us wanted your world destroyed. Not all of us celebrated its end." Before Olivia could question him further, the ship's alarm sounded. She rushed back to the bridge. "Veckener patrol ships," Samuel reported. "They've changed." course and are heading directly for us. They may have detected our presence. On the screen, 3 Vecaner warships moved through space toward their position. The element of surprise was slipping away. Your orders, Captain? Samuel asked. Olivia looked at the approaching enemy, descendants of those who had destroyed her. Ancestral home. The moment of truth had arrived. Raise shields, she ordered. Prepare weapons. The first battle for Earth's reclamation was about to begin. The bridge of the U-ESA Vengeance fell silent as the Vecanar patrol ships approached. Everyone waited for Olivia's next command. The weapon systems were ready, targeting solutions locked. Hold fire, Olivia ordered suddenly. Maintain stealth. Systems at maximum. Let's see if they pass us by. Samuel looked at her in surprise. Captain, this is our chance to strike first. And alert their entire defense network? No, we stick to the plan. Admiral Grayson wants a coordinated attack. The minutes stretched as the Vecanar ships moved closer. On the main screen, Olivia could see their design, sleek, predatory vessels with forward-swept wings and weapon ports along their hulls. They're scanning this sector, the sensor officer reported, but our stealth systems are holding. They haven't detected us yet. Olivia held her breath as the lead Vecanar ship passed within 5,000 kilometers of their position, close enough to see with the naked eye through a viewport. Then, slowly, the patrol changed course and continued on its regular route. There, moving away, Samuel confirmed. We remain undetected. A collective sigh of relief passed through the bridge. Olivia nodded to her communications officer. Contact Admiral Grayson. Inform him of the patrol patterns we've observed. An hour later, the command staff gathered in the tactical room. The holographic display showed the Sol system with the positions of all human ships, marked in blue, and known Zoltanian vessels in red. The Vecanar defenses around Mars are stronger than we anticipated, Admiral Grayson said, his face grim. But they're focused outward, toward the Tauri and Sothani territories. Their blind spot is here. He pointed to the dark side of Mars. That's where we'll strike. Commander Russell stepped forward. Sir, I've analyzed the data from the Tauri vessel. The prisoner Kelver's claim about a vault on the Sothani homeworld appears to have supporting evidence in their research logs. A distraction, Grayson dismissed. We focus on the Vecanar first. With respect, Admiral, Olivia said, what if the vault contains something that could help our cause? If there were Zoltanians who opposed Earth's destruction, their descendants might be potential allies. Allies? Grayson's voice rose. These are the creatures that destroyed our homeworld, Captain Prescott. Do not forget that. I haven't forgotten, sir. But our goal is justice for Earth. If there's evidence that can help us achieve that without maximum bloodshed, shouldn't we consider it? The room fell silent. Catherine gave Olivia a subtle nod of support, while many of the other officers looked. Uncomfortable with the challenge to Grayson's authority. After a long moment, Grayson spoke. Very well. Captain Prescott, take the Vengeance and 2 support ships to investigate this vault. The rest of the fleet will proceed with the attack on Mars as planned. Thank you, Admiral. Don't thank me yet, Grayson warned. If this is a wild goose chase, you'll miss the battle we've spent 3,000 years preparing for. As the meeting ended, Samuel caught up with Olivia in the corridor. Are you sure about this? We trained our whole lives to fight the Vecanar. And we still might, Olivia replied. But first, I want to see what's in that vault. Something doesn't add up about the history we've been told. You believe a Zoltanian over our own history? Samuel asked incredulously. I believe in finding the truth, whatever it is. The Vengeance and its 2 escort ships broke away from the main fleet, changing course toward the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The massive belt had been heavily mined and industrialized by the Sothani. with many of the larger asteroids hollowed out for habitation. According to Kelver's information, the vault was hidden on a small, unmarked asteroid designated only by coordinates. Catherine had extracted the location after hours of careful questioning. "We're approaching the coordinates," Samuel announced on the bridge. "Sensors detect a small outpost on asteroid KX-297. Minimal defenses. No Sothony ships in the immediate vicinity. Maintain stealth systems," Olivia ordered. "Prepare a boarding team. I want to see this vault for myself." Catherine joined Olivia as she prepared for the mission. "The Tory prisoner insists on coming. With us. He says there may be security systems keyed to Zaltanian biology. Can we trust him?" Olivia asked. "I believe we can. He seems genuinely fascinated by humans. He's a scientist, not a soldier." Olivia considered for a moment, then nodded. "He comes with us, but under guard." The boarding shuttle departed from the Vengeance with Olivia, Catherine, Commander Russell, a security team, and Kelver aboard. They approached the small asteroid, which looked unremarkable among thousands of others. "There," Kelver pointed as they circled the dark rock. "That formation isn't natural." Sure enough, as they got closer, Olivia could see a structure built into the asteroid's surface. It was designed to blend in, but its geometric patterns gave it away as artificial. The shuttle landed on a small flat area near the structure. Everyone donned spacesuits, and they made their way across the asteroid's low-gravity surface. "The entrance should recognize me as a researcher," Kelver explained through the communication system in his borrowed human spacesuit. He placed his gloved hand on a weathered panel beside what looked like a sealed doorway. For a moment, nothing happened. Then lights flickered on, and the door slowly slid open. Inside, they found an airlock. Once it was sealed and pressurized, they removed their helmets. The air was stale but breathable. "This place has been sealed." For a very long time, Catherine observed. Beyond the airlock lay a large chamber carved into the asteroid. As they entered, lights activated automatically, revealing rows of preservation containers along the walls. In the center stood a pedestal with a control interface. Kelver approached it hesitantly. "This is it, the preservation. What exactly is preserved here?" Olivia asked, looking around at the containers. KELV, or activated the control interface. Holographic display appeared above the pedestal, showing a human face, an elderly man with dark skin and white hair, wearing clothes from the time before Earth's destruction. "Greetings," the recording began. "I am Dr. Benjamin Daniels, Chief, Biologist of the Earth Diplomatic Mission to the Zaltanian Alliance. If you are viewing this message, then the worst has happened and Earth is gone." Olivia stared in shock at the face of a human who had lived before the Erasure, speaking words recorded 3,000 years ago. "This vault contains genetic samples from Earth's biosphere, plants, animals, and human DNA from volunteers among our diplomatic staff. It also contains cultural artifacts, art, music, and a complete record of human knowledge as it existed at the time of this recording." The hologram continued. "We created this in secret cooperation with members of all three Zaltanian species who opposed their leadership's plans. They promised to preserve this vault until, perhaps someday, humanity might return." Olivia felt a chill run down her spine. This changed everything they thought they knew about their history. "Captain," Russell called from one of the containers he had opened. "You need to see this." Inside were thousands of small, labeled vials. Another container held data crystals. A third contained artwork, books, and other cultural items from Earth. "It's true," Catherine whispered, scanning the genetic samples. "This is our heritage, preserved all this time." As the implications sank in, Samuel's voice came through Olivia's communicator. "Captain, we have a situation." A Sothony diplomatic vessel is approaching. They're hailing us. They say they know why we're here. Olivia looked at Culver, who seemed as surprised as she was. This wasn't a trap, he said. But it seems others have been watching this place too. Olivia made her decision. Open a channel. Let's hear what they have to say. A Sothony diplomatic vessel was smaller than Olivia expected, elegant in design rather than threatening. It docked near their shuttle on the asteroid's surface. Olivia waited with Catherine, Commander Russell, and a security team at the airlock. Culver stood behind them, visibly nervous about meeting the Sothony. The airlock cycled open, revealing 3 Sothony delegates. Unlike the blue-skinned Tory, the Sothony had pale, almost translucent skin with faint patterns that seemed to shift and glow. They were taller than humans, with slender limbs and large, deep-set eyes. The lead Sothony stepped forward. I am High Counselor Rental of the Sothony Collective. We have waited a very long time for this moment. Captain Olivia Prescott of the U.S. Vengeance, Olivia replied cautiously. What exactly have you been waiting for? The return of humanity, Rental said simply. We always believed you would come back someday. Catherine moved closer to Olivia. They knew we survived. Not with certainty, Rental explained, but we hoped. The preservation was created by our ancestors, who opposed the erasure. They believed that even if Earth was destroyed, humanity might have established colonies beyond our knowledge. Olivia studied the Sothony leader's face, trying to detect any deception. Your people helped destroy Earth. Why should we trust you now? Not all of our people agreed with that decision, Rental said. For 3,000 years, a secret order within our society has maintained this vault and kept the true history alive. The Sothony leader gestured toward the preservation containers. We have protected your heritage while the official histories were rewritten by the Vekanar. We have waited for this day of reckoning. As they spoke, Samuel's urgent voice came through. Olivia's communicator. Captain, we're receiving emergency transmissions from the main fleet. The attack on Mars has begun, but something's gone wrong. Admiral Grayson's flagship has been destroyed. Olivia felt as if the floor had dropped beneath her. What happened? The Vekanar were waiting for them. It was an ambush. They knew we were coming. Commander Russell immediately drew his weapon, pointing it at Culver. You led us into a trap while your people prepared for our attack. No, Culver protested. The Tory have no alliance with the Vekanar. We've been at war with them for centuries. He's telling the truth, Rental said. This was not his doing. The Vekanar have spies everywhere. They must have detected your fleet's approach. Olivia made a quick decision. Commander, take us back to the ship immediately. We need to help the fleet. She turned to Rental. If you truly support humanity's return, prove it now. Back aboard the Vengeance, the situation became clear. The main human fleet had been caught in a massive Vekanar trap. Nearly a third of their ships were already destroyed or disabled. The Vekanar pulled back their patrols to make us think their defenses were weaker than they were. Samuel explained as they studied the tactical display. When our ships came out of stealth mode to attack, they were waiting. We can still reach them in time to help, Olivia said. Prepare the ship for battle. To her surprise, Rental, who had accompanied them back to the Vengeance, stepped forward. Captain Prescott, I have a different proposal. My ship has already contacted the Sothony fleet. They are moving to engage the Vekanar from the opposite side. Why would you help us? Olivia asked. Because this is the moment our ancestors prepared for. The chance to correct a historic wrong. Rental's gaze was steady. The Vekanar manipulated the Alliance into destroying Earth. They have dominated our peoples through fear and deception for millennia. Your return gives us the opportunity to break their power forever. Catherine, who had been analyzing data from the preservation vault, joined them. Captain, The vault contains evidence that supports this. Records show the Veckener falsified intelligence about human weapons programs to convince the other species that Earth was an imminent threat. Olivia felt the weight of history on her shoulders. The revenge mission she had trained for her entire life suddenly looked different. This wasn't just about humanity against the Zoltanians. It was about truth against lies, about justice rather than simple vengeance. "Open a channel to all human ships," she ordered. On the main screen, she could see the battle raging around Mars. Human and Veckenar ships exchanged fire, both sides taking heavy losses. "This is Captain Olivia Prescott to all human vessels. We have discovered new information about the Erasure. The Sothani have offered alliance against the Vecnor. Their fleet is moving to assist us. Focus your attacks on Veckenar military targets. Only acknowledge." One by one, the remaining human ship captains acknowledged her orders, though many sounded confused or skeptical. "You're taking a great risk," Samuel said quietly beside her. "How do you know this isn't another trap?" "I don't," Olivia admitted. "But I know that blindly destroying all Zoltanians won't bring Earth back. If there's a chance for justice rather than just revenge, we have to take it." The Vengeance and its escort ships accelerated toward Mars, weapons ready. Alongside them, the Sothani diplomatic vessel matched their course. "Sothani fleet has engaged Veckenar defenses on the far side of Mars," the communications officer reported. "They're drawing off enemy ships. Take us in," Olivia ordered. "Target Veckenar command centers and weapon platforms only." The battle that followed was unlike anything humanity had prepared for. Instead of fighting alone against a unified enemy, they found themselves fighting alongside one Zoltanian faction against another. The space around Mars became a chaotic battlefield of human, Sothani, and Veckenar ships. Hours later, as the fighting began to subside, Olivia received word that the Veckenar leadership had called for a ceasefire. Their main defense platforms were destroyed, their fleet in disarray. On the bridge of the Vengeance, now bearing battle scars from the conflict, Olivia stood with Catherine, Samuel, Rental, and Kelver. On the main screen was an image of Earth, the dead world that had once been, humanity's home. "What happens now?" Samuel asked, the question on everyone's mind. "Now we rebuild," Olivia said. "Not just ships and stations, but trust, history, truth." "My people offered to help restore Earth," Rental said. "With combined Sothani terraforming technology and the preserved genetic samples, we could, in time, bring life back to your world." Olivia thought of her great-grandfather Alan, keeper of Earth's memory. How he had taught her that humanity's greatest strength was not its ability to destroy, but to create. 3,000 years ago, one group decided that our peoples couldn't coexist, Olivia said. They were wrong. We have a chance to prove that now. She looked at the faces around her, human, Tory, and Sothani all watching her, waiting for her decision. The path of revenge that humanity had followed for 3 millennia had led them here, not to a final battle of extinction, but to an unexpected moment of possibility. "My great-grandfather once told me that the stars remember what was done to us," Olivia said. "Now they'll remember what we choose to do next." She turned to face Earth's image on the screen. The dead world that had birthed humanity still orbited its sun, patient and silent. For the first time in 3,000 years, its future contained hope. "Let's go home," she said. "And this time, let's build something that will last."